All right, welcome back to We Want Plates. You know, I was just thinking about how infrequently I actually eat off of a regular ceramic plate. It's either like a paper bowl or paper if I've unwrapped a sandwich, or like a foil bowl or something like that. But it's really only if I actually eat in a restaurant that I eat off of a ceramic plate. But at home, it's always just to-go stuff. I rarely ever put dishes in the dishwasher, which I like personally, but I know it probably comes across kind of strange because I know that's not normal. So anyway, the name of the subreddit, not really for me. I don't want plates, apparently, in my life, unless I'm at a restaurant, which most of these are pictures that were taken at restaurants. We'll start off with 19, the trifecta of not plates, cutting board, mason jar, and cast iron skillet. Isn't it kind of unsanitary to serve food on top of a wooden cutting board? Like, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that, but whatever works for you. Like, oh man, it has all the chopping cuts in it, even if it was sealed at one point or another. Like, I'm pretty sure they've cut through the sealant. It's all like worn off over here. It's just, that's not very sanitary. And then you got this all wrong, okay? Everybody knows that the mason jars, those are for drinks, okay? That's the trendy thing. You put like your strawberry lemonade or your fancy frescas, you put them in the mason jar, all right? Not the coleslaw. So just put the coleslaw in the skillet and another skillet, and then you put your fancy drink in there. That's what all the trendy restaurants do. There you go. Of course, I want to eat all my noodles from a log. Silly bowls and plate eaters, I tell you. That one at least looks more sealed. I mean, I don't know for sure. I would hope so. But just the whole eating off of wood at a restaurant. Like, if you have wooden plates at your house, that's your house. They're not being used by a million people, being cycled over and over and washed repeatedly. And like, you can probably maintain it fine yourself. But just in an industrial setting, I don't know. I just feel like wood isn't the best thing to be used to serve food. But I mean, I don't know. It looks unique, I suppose. I'll just always remember back to eating off of a tree branch at a very nice restaurant here in LA. But that was an experience, I will tell you. I was thoroughly floored by the experience. Breakfast on a shovel. Eggs Benedict, hollandaise, spinach, and some sort of waffle. Thought this belonged here. I ain't even mad. It looks like a nice setting for it. It kind of fits the environment. It's at least not made out of wood other than the handle, so metal is a little bit more sanitary to eat off of. What is that? It's like a blackened, some kind of waffle with, it's very, is that the, yeah, okay. Is that truffle on top of it? Like truffles on your waffle? It'd be a very interesting combination. I will say though, I am a fan of truffle. Oh my God, I had probably one of the best kind of pasta type dishes a few months back at a steakhouse. They had this limited special because I guess the chef bought just like a mound of truffle, which they told me the price on that. Stop honking, trucks, Jesus. They told me the price on, like, I forget what it was. It was probably like a couple pounds of truffle, and it was several $1,000s. It was something crazy, and I was like, oh, all right, so that's why the dish is kind of expensive. But then I had it, and I was like, wow, this was real good. I enjoyed it more than the steak at the steakhouse, and I usually enjoy the steak there. Creative, but still not a plate. Onion rings on an oil funnel. I ain't even mad. That's like a very nice, neatly organized way to serve onion rings, you know? It's easy. Rather than like, accidentally picking off a bunch when you're grabbing for one, you're only going to get one at a time here unless you purposefully go for more. And it also communicates to you that you are putting a lot of unhealthy oils in your body when you're eating onion rings. Let's be under no illusion, onion rings are not healthy for you, but they sure are damn tasty. I don't know, that's kind of cool to me. I'm kind of admiring some of the decisions on the subreddit so far this month. Some of them not so much in the past, but we'll see. I'm sure we'll get to those. Worst nachos ever. Is that nachos being served in a spoon? That just looks real messy, and you definitely didn't get enough salsa. There's definitely not enough guac there. They gave you enough salsa and guac for like 2 dips max. And then, well, Avocado is always extra, so I'm sure you got to pay more for if you want to be able to dip the rest of your chips. And then you won't be able to get a house. Because I'm going to have to explain that reference every time I use it, or people are going to be like, why are you saying we won't be able to get a house because of avocados? There was some article that just went viral because the guy was saying the reason why millennials can't buy houses is because they order avocado toast too much. Anyway, I'm going to have to keep re-explaining that. Yeah, there's also really not enough cheese. It's not even so much about the dish that it was served on as much as like needs more cheese, needs more everything. Otherwise, it's kind of just chips. In China, having to pull pieces off of a fruit tree. That doesn't bother me. The part that bothers me is you have to it looks like a pretty big table and you kind of got to reach into the middle over a lot of things. Your sleeve is going to fall into one of those other sharing dishes in the middle there. So for that reason, not exactly practical, but it's kind of a cool presentation because, fruit grows on trees. A lot of fruit grows on trees. Yes, obviously not all of it. You could, I think it would have been cool maybe if they added some greenery in there, some leaves. Then people might mistake the leaves for things they can also eat and be like, this is kind of gross. Was I supposed to eat this? No, you weren't. And then spit it out. So far, kudos for some of the originality here. My waitress proclaimed, "Here is your plate, sir." That just seems like it would schmoove. I was combining words there. Don't worry about it. Seems like it'd move when you're trying to eat it, but I don't know. Hey, at least they're insulating the food from the wood, even though that looks like a much newer dish than we saw that steak on in the beginning. It looks like a very nice carrot cake. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would eat that in a heartbeat. Looks real tasty. And I don't even think I'd get too caught up if I had a dish served to me like that in a restaurant. The grilled cheese did nothing wrong. It's a hanging sandwich? Damn, dude. That seems like a great way to just make your sandwich be falling apart before it even reaches you. I have a hard enough time keeping my messy, hot sandwiches together as I start eating them. I don't need it to be falling apart before it even reaches my mouth. Give me at least the gratification of that first bite, it not just being all over the place. I get the one bite. After that, look, the ketchup's gonna start going out all over the place, or the grease is gonna pour down, or the cheese is gonna, in this case, start coming out. But just give me that one bite, okay? I don't need to be worrying about things. And then that's also going to make the distribution of what's in the sandwich way off. You're going to have one side that doesn't have much stuff. And then you're going to have another side which everything is concentrated in and or just falling out. I don't like that. The tree of pizza? All right. That's like, no, that's just like reddit.com/r/popping material. I'm like looking at that. And it's just making me think of something that you would just squeeze pus out of, which I know is just a great image to be thinking about, especially while you're looking at something that's apparently food. But that's all I can think about when I'm looking. I'm like, this. It's just giving me some weird feelings. And I know there's a phobia, and it's not a phobia that I'm feeling right now, but I know there is a name for a phobia of objects that kind of look like this, and I forget what the name is. But it's like a highly specific thing. I'm more curious about what kind of pizza is that? I want to know. And what is that, a dipping sauce for it? That's the weirdest pizza. I don't know. I feel like the heebie-jeebies looking at it. Fish goo smeared on a floor tile. What are you supposed to, you kind of scrape it up and then, is it supposed to be sashimi? Except they took a hydraulic press to it before they served it? I'm super confused. It looks like they basically took some kind of albacore sashimi or something and then put some avocado on it, took a hydraulic press to it, and then sprinkled some more avocado and a little bit of sauce on top. But then you're like, you need a chisel to scrape your food up, and then it's gonna be all it's basically a tartare at that point, I suppose. A bizarre tartare. That's what I would name the dish if I was the proprietor of the restaurant. Just bring it straight from the fryer and dump it on my morning newspaper, please. Oh God, I hate Brussels sprouts. I know that people love them, dude. But it's just the smell. It smells like bathrooms. And I'm not a fan of the taste. And then also not a huge fan of soggy newspaper. I feel like there's not really much accomplished by, rather than just keeping it inside of the, the metal basket there, spilling it out like it's trendy. I'm just not getting the artistic benefit of having it pre-spilled. Like, all right, why wouldn't I want to eat caviar off of a wooden hand? It kind of looks a little bit like something else. It's like, it's referencing, I don't know if they intend it to be. I would have to imagine they do. But they're kind of referencing something you might see in movies that involves something that's on your finger like that. That might not go in your mouth. But that's what it looks like. That's a little weird. I also, like with caviar, I feel like it's a little nicer if it's mixed in with something and not just straight up plain. But hey, if you want to snort it, go right ahead. Probably won't be great. Call a doctor. We need plates. I'm a simple man. I see an injection. I take my pants off. Why am I being kicked out? You see an injection, you take your pants off. Like, not... God, I've never even, that I can remember, had an injection in my butt. I probably did when I was a little baby, but that's not my natural response. Like, to seeing a needle, it's not like, oh, must be going in my butt. I also do my best to avoid needles at all costs because, Jesus Christ, they're the worst. And just, yeah, anything served with a syringe, it's just going to make my mind go to places I don't want it to. Just needles and needle phobia and stuff like that, and automatically going to make me in less of a nice euphoric state when eating what is supposed to be a good dish. Also, this reminds me of the dirty water cans where you clean your paintbrush off in elementary school. It's needles and dirty paint water. Nah, I'm good. After looking the subreddit forever, I finally have spotted a quality submission in the wild, courtesy of a Facebook friend food blogger. Fermented plums served on pine branches. How did they get the plums on there in the first place? I guess the leaves, the little, are they considered leaves? I guess they just stayed on as the plums were being impaled by the branches. It seems a little bit messy. Kind of feels like just having your plums buried in hair. Probably not quite as bad as that. I will say that the tree branch that I ate off of at that one restaurant that I keep referencing didn't have leaves on it. Much less tiny little pine leaves that can just go all over the place. Bacon served on a clothesline. It's kind of a good way to serve bacon. I'm not gonna lie, like the grease drips off of it. I guess that depends on how you like do you like your bacon just dripping with grease? Then maybe this isn't for you, but it makes it a little bit less messy. I eat bacon with my fingers, so grabbing an individual piece from the clothesline, very practical, as opposed to having to dig through. You know exactly how much bacon you have. The status quo, it's there, right? You're not like, oh, I wonder how many bacons are in this thing. It's like, oh, I have 4 pieces of bacon. I know exactly how to allocate my bacon consumption if I want it to last. It's obviously a thing that we all have issues with, our bacon allocation resource consumption. You never know when you're going to run out or not. Menu said spaghetti on toast. I beg to differ. Spaghetti on toast. No, it just looks like spaghetti with toast, and the spaghetti is just a can of sauce and meatballs. That is a very odd way to serve pasta. Also, though, is spaghetti on toast? Is that like a thing that people get? I've never heard of that. That just seems really messy. Like spaghetti, toast, or you eat your garlic bread with your spaghetti, but it's usually not like spaghetti with, there are meatball sandwiches, but the meatball sandwiches don't generally have pasta on them as well. It's just a very strange idea for a dish, and it's served in the way that I'd more expect it to be served. But that's the dirty water paint can. Yes, I know it's a regular can. I realize this. It's nothing special, but that's when I see a label-free can, that is my instant association, is dirty paint water, okay? It just is. First, they took our plates, now they're taking our chairs. When will the madness end? A restaurant with swing, that's actually probably kind of comfortable, and damn, dude, that would just be the best for my fidgeting. I love to rock back and forth on a chair if I can. If I were at a restaurant where they had like rocking chairs or something, I would just be be like this the whole time. Whoever is sitting across from me would probably hate me. Be like, Jesus Christ, can you sit still for a moment? But this, oh, this would just feed my rocking ability so much. I would be so into it. I want to find this place. What is it? Fewer and flaw. This might not be in English. My bread served inside roadkill. Oh, why? Why would you ever want to serve any food inside of anything that has actual hair? I don't care if that's synthetic. I don't care whatever. Why? Hair and food. No, they don't go together. Man, when I was referring, it looks like those things with the pine branches were being served inside of a lot of hair. I didn't think that anyone would ever actually serve any food inside of a hair. Like it's worse if that actually used to be an animal. But even if it wasn't, it's just I don't want hair on my food. I don't want to turn into a cat, okay? That's why cats and humans are different, because we don't cough up hairballs. We're not cats. So that's gross. Okay, well, anywho, that was it for the last month of We Want Plates. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like if you like. Check out the playlist in the description. If you want to catch any more Reddit-related videos, subscribe if you're not already. And if you want to listen to music in the background, link is in the outro over on Marin Music. I'll see you next time.
It's